Hi friends, it's Becky and the beads were good again this week. This is my weekly wrap up and chat where I show you what I made this week. We talk about our plans, we talk about some of the other things that are going on, and it's just a little bit of a chit chat, kind of a vlog sort of a situation where you just get to see my face and you get to see my new hair. It's not really new hair, it's just I had about like 6 inches of regrowth, and the this color had faded before, so I bleached the regrowth and just refreshed my color for my ends, and I feel so much better with color on my hair. Life is so much better with color. So it's kind of a pinky, it's rose gold is the color, it's overtone, and so it's more peachy pink sort of thing. I really love the color though, it's so bright and pretty and beautiful. Anyway, so one of the things that I do on this is I show you what I made this week, and so what I do before I try it on. Now, I just started doing this because one of my friends wanted to see the pieces with a little bit more detail, which I totally agree with. We're going to flip down to my bead mat, and you'll take a look at those with the overhead view, and then we'll flip back here and we'll do a face-to-face view where I can show you what they look like on a person, on me. So we'll do that in just a minute. So here are all the items that I made this week. Several of them are beaded chain necklaces. One of them is strung because I just needed a little break from making links. But let me show them to you a little bit closer before we wear them. This one was a bezeled button. I had gotten this button in a little pack, a little free pack of buttons, and the shank was broke off because that happens when you have glass buttons. Sometimes they break. It's totally a normal thing. But then I made a little bezel with some delica beads and some of the beads from the Grateful Heart beading kit from Soft Flex, and then I used some more beads from the Grateful Heart beading kit to make a necklace to go with it. And this was my first project that I did for my challenge. And then I made some sweet and simple earrings to go with them right there. So you've got those. And then the next thing that I made, and this one took a while actually because just making all of these links took a while. It took some time. But I used some simple loops and some of the crystal beads and shell beads from the bargain bead box in order to make several chains. Some that I used for earrings, some that I used for a multi-strand bracelet with a little peach dangle on it, and this is the Peach Sorbet bargain bead box. And then I made a necklace that is a double strand necklace, and I showed y'all how to make this 2-strand connector link, where you just start out basically like you're making a figure 8 link, and then you just keep going and add a bead and put a loop on the other end. And I did that on the other side too, so that we could have our necklace made with those beads. It was a lot of fun to put it together. A lot of my off-screen beading time has been spent figuring out beads or making links or figuring out how things go together. But then I also just wanted to take a break from making links, and I just really wanted to string the pink rhodonite with these green leaf beads in between them, with little pops of gold. It just was one of those things that my brain would not let me continue on until I had made it. So we made that, and then I made some very simple earrings too with it, because sometimes simple is best, and I really loved these. This is not simple. This is another type of design that I made, and in this one I used a thinner gauge wire. I used 26 gauge wire. Because I did a little bead weaving with wire. Instead of using beading thread and a needle, I just used the 26 gauge wire to go through all of these 2-hole beads, seed beads, and add these fire polish beads around the edges to make this. And then we made a couple of different links using the 2-hole beads and some seed beads, and then linked them all together with some jump rings. Now this was my example that I was testing out whether this would work with or not before I turned on the camera and made it with y'all. And so I have two colorways now. One has the July curated collection colorways with the blue and the silver. It's a very wintry theme almost to me. And then we've got our super warm pinks and golds, and this was the August curated collection from Beads to Live By. And then I just added these fire polish beads from my bead stash to be able to add to it. And so all of the links to these, just to reiterate, all of the links to where my tutorials where I made these will be in the description below where you click on more. They'll all be down there. So let's flip back up to face to face and I'll show you what they look like on me. Okay, now we're back. So let's take a look at what they look like on me. We'll start with my Grateful Hearts creation. And I love this because it's like, sure, maybe the button got broken, but it's not something that you just want to throw away. Just because something breaks doesn't mean that you have to throw it away. You can make something better with it. You can do something more with it. It just needed to grow up and become a pendant, you know? That's all it needed. Oh, and let me put the earrings on so you can see what those look like too. But yeah, I like this length of necklace. It's one of my favorite lengths. Go into my ear. There we go. Loop, loop, loop. Yay! And so this is the first one for my challenge. If you're new to my channel, for the month of September, I am making at least 2 beaded chain necklaces a week. I overshot. I've made 4 this week. It's my first week, but that's okay. This pace probably won't be sustainable, but that's why I said at least, so that I have room for having a really busy week or having a lot of things on and still being able to fit 2 necklaces in. Next week we are doing a lot of project work at work. We've got a lot of things going on at my home where my son needs a little extra time with me. So it's possible that I am not going to be able to keep up this same pace. But I'm so inspired. Everything is beaded chains to me right now because that's where my mind is. So, you know, when I got some other beads, I'll tell you about that in just a minute. But first of all, woo, I love this necklace. This is so gorgeous, and it is one of my favorite things that I have ever made. It is from the Peach Sorbet bargain bead box, and I'm just trying to find my clasp. Oh yeah, that's right, I made a hook. And it is just a double layer. It's just hanging out down there. And it drapes so nicely. I'm so pleased with it. And then we've got a bracelet that I made. Let's put that one on my wrist. And sometimes when I put on these bracelets, I struggle a little bit. Sometimes I don't. Where's my little, you know, I made a little bracelet thingy to help me put these on. There it is. Ta-da! I'll put the link to this video down there too if you want to look at it. But this way I can hook the end of my bracelet on here and then just hold this right here. I've got it curved so it goes all the way down. And then since it's holding that there we go. I can hook that on right there. And I've got my bracelet done. I love that. I love that. So, I love this set. I just absolutely love this set. It is so, so pretty. Oh my gosh. There you go. But yeah, this was a really, really fun one to make. I did discover a few hacks while I was making it to make it so that it would put a little less strain on my wrists to make it a little bit quicker. And I talked about that in my video. And one of those things was to make my beginning loop, because I used simple loops, to make my beginning loop with a one-step looper. And then the second loop, to make that with my round nose pliers, because one thing about the one-step looper is that when you make both of the loops with it, sometimes there's too much space between the loop and your bead, and you have to have that space because otherwise you might break your bead. And so it makes it a little bit easier to have kind of a tighter thing if your second loop is done with the round nose pliers. So I think that's how I'm going to be doing simple loops from now on, just spoiler alert. And then, oh, this one I did wrapped loops, by the way, on that. And if you want to know the difference between wrapped loops and simple loops, I did a beaded chain I can't talk. A beaded chain basics video as well. So that'll be also in the description. I'll just put a bunch of videos in the description. You can sort through them, watch them at your leisure, do what you want with that. But yeah, so I did have to take a break because, again, a lot of my off-camera time was spent making links. And so we've got a strung project that it was in my head. I needed to make it, and that's how it sits. Oh, I love it so much. Sorry, why do I love the things that I make so much? I don't know. But why would I make them if I wasn't going to love them? That's what I want to know. Anyway, so we've got that, and then I've got this other one that I made, and this was just one of those situations where I was like, do I want to do a bead woven link? What am I going to do with these 2-hole beads? And then I thought, why not use the smaller wire, the 26 gauge wire, to make myself some links with these 2-hole beads to have them go through pretty easily. And then while I was doing it, I thought, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do for a pendant? And it took a little bit of doing, but I figured out how to do this little pendant using some 26 gauge wire as well. And it's like, it's bead woven, but it's not, because you don't have to go back through and do reinforcing. You don't have to worry about weaving in your ends. It's just, you know, putting the wire through each of the holes in the beads in order to get it to look like that. So this is the July colors. It's got blues and silvers. And then I also did one on camera because I had to figure out if this would even work before I could even record it. So I did one necklace first as my example, and then I made another one on camera. Well, most of it is on camera. The links, like I did one of each link on camera, and the rest of it was off camera. And so we've got another pendant, and it's just so much fun to put beads together and like figure out how they go together, like puzzle pieces. So much fun. And I didn't do any earrings for these. I could probably knock some together real quick, but I just did the necklaces for that one. But yeah, so that's what I've made this week. Some of the things that might be coming up this next week is I just got the coolest bead mix from Daniel Wicks. And so like, as soon as I got it, again, everything is beaded links to me right now. Like that's what I see. Like when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And so right now, everything looks like beaded links. So I have been making these sweet little, these are done with bead weaving, but they are super simple, really easy. And like, if you're new to bead weaving or if you want to try it out, this might be a really, really easy thing to get started in, because you're basically going in a circle and then you just cross over the front to add this little fire polish bead, and then you're good. And then they're linked together by, and I've done this before in other ones, this 8-0 bead on the corner, on the edge. You just put a jump ring through that, and then you can link them together into a chain. It's like, it's so easy. But yeah, so I've got these simple, sweet little guys that I'm making beaded chain with. So I will have a tutorial for that this week. Again, using this Star Seeds bead mix. It's at Daniel Wicks Etsy shop. She just released it this weekend, but she sent me one and I love it. It's so cool. And one of the best things too is she sent me these 8-0 seed beads that have faceting. Can you see the sparkle? they have faceting on the sides. So they're also on her site. They're listed as meteorites. So you could get the star seeds bead mix and the meteorites, and then just get some little metallic 4mm fire polish beads, and then you could make these with me and have a little star seeds daisy chain flower starflower necklace. So I'm not going to do any like pendants or anything. It's just going to be a necklace, like maybe a choker length sort of necklace. I think that would be awesome, actually. Ooh, and I could do it as a bracelet too. So many options with this, but I mean it's super easy, super fun. I actually took a break last night from doing these to sit down and do all of these like all in a row. This is all of the colors that's in there. But Danielle also has a bunch of patterns that she's already written for these over on her site as well. So that's one of the things that we can expect this week. Again, it's going to be kind of busy with work. So this is for sure going to happen. We're going to have another sort of easier one, because I know that like between this one and this one, we're doing kind of complicated bead links, and so we'll have something that's a little simpler, maybe simple loops maybe, or some wrapped loops, something that we can practice our wire working again with. Because, you know, that's one of the reasons that I did this challenge, is so that I could get more practice doing wire work. And, you know, last year when I did it, my wire work improved so much, and this year I'm just doing it again because I had so much fun and because it's giving me a chance to improve as well. So we're not going to be like doing hard things all the time. Some of them will be a little bit easier. But yeah, and also if you are new to beading and jewelry, you might not be aware of some of the other YouTubers out there who do really excellent tutorials for wire work and making beaded chains and beaded links. And I've just got a really short list. I'm going to tell you, I'll put links to their channels in the description below as well. But like some of my favorite ones to watch are like Joey Balestrelli. She is so creative. Like she's just churning out the ideas and they are all just gorgeous. She also she's just really good at teaching, so patient and kind with it. Another that's new to me is Amy Campbell from Campbell Creations. And she did some really fantastic, like unique links in one of her recent videos that I was just like blown away by. It was great. And she's so great at showing you how to do it. I mean, just go follow her. It's fantastic. And Back to Earth Creations, Vaughn, I don't know that she's doing a lot of wire work right now. Some of her older ones though, definitely. When I first started doing jewelry and using craft wire, I like went down the rabbit hole of all of her videos. Like she had a whole like intro to wire working videos and I watched all of them. So it's definitely something that you want to watch. Back to Earth Creations. Colleen Sikowitz has been doing some videos and they're really great videos, and she's just an absolute sweetheart too. So like go follow Colleen. Jennifer Miller, she does fantastic tutorials. When she teaches like the wire work, she's always like, I'm not an expert, but you know what? There's no like wire working police. And the way that she teaches, she's like the queen of no wire wastage. She's really good at teaching easy to follow steps. So that's definitely well worth watching on that. Gem Hawks is, I mean, she's like the muse for wire work. Like you just want to like bask in all of that. Most of her tutorials, she does have a YouTube channel. I'll link to that. A lot of her tutorials will be on the Jessie James Beads channel as well. So you could find her in both her channel and over there as well. She does this thing on Thursdays usually. It ends up being around my lunchtime on Thursdays, and Thursdays are super busy for work. I get really stressed out, and sometimes if I'm not in a meeting and I can take a minute or two, I'll jump into one of the lives that she does on Facebook, and it's just so nice to spend some time with Jem while she's making some stuff, and whether I'm making along with her or not, it's just always worth it to me to be able to spend a little bit of time with her. She's fantastic. I love that. Another fantastic person to watch for while working is Sarah Lovecraft. She is like, she's an expert. Basically, she is absolutely an expert. You know, any opinions that she has, it's worth listening to. definitely somebody to watch. So if you want more inspiration than my channel on making links, go follow these guys. I'm going to put shout outs to all of them in the description so you can find their channels, or type them into the search bar. Sarah Lovecraft, Jim Hawks, Jennifer Miller, Colleen Siekowitz, Back to Earth Creations, Amy Campbell has the Campbell Creations, and Joey Ballestre has Joey's Jewelry. So I'll put links again to all of those because they're fantastic. It's not just the creative process, it's also the fact that each of these people that I'm calling out, they have such warm and welcoming personalities that you really enjoy learning from them. They make it easy to learn, and I love that. It is so great. So go follow them, have some fun making with those. I'll put a link to Danielle's Etsy if you want to check out that star seeds and get some of those. And I'll have links to all of the other videos that I have made some things with. And yeah, I think that is most of what I wanted to talk about this week. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a fantastic September. It has finally cooled down enough. I have the window open in my room here. The dogs are sitting right at it, and they are smelling all the smells. Usually we can't have the windows open in the summertime because it gets hella hot, but it's cooled down so the dogs can have smells. We're gonna have fall in Texas means smells at the windows before it starts getting a little bit too cold in like December. You know, like we'll have a couple of months where we have the windows open and we get to have some fresh air instead of air conditioning. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. But that also means that I'm gonna have to remember to close the window if my neighbors are doing yard work so you guys don't hear it on my videos. So just so many things coming up. I love the way that this necklace looks with my top. Anyway, I hope y'all are having a fantastic week. I look forward to seeing you this week as we go through and make some more things. There are going to be some unboxings this week. I get my Adornable Elements and my bargain bead box stuff tomorrow, so we'll do bargain bead box probably as soon as I get it, and then we'll do the Adornable Elements probably Tuesday. Yeah, I mean, it's just there are certain times of the month when you get more shipments, and so you gotta do more unboxings. But there's also something to look forward to is this week. One of my good friends has asked me to do another painting and jewelry thing, and I was searching around in my head for some inspiration for it. And then the same friend was like, okay, look at the Gemstone Orphanage next to the dollar bead box. And because the Gemstone Orphanage box has some pinks in it, but it also has those deep greens, those gorgeous, gorgeous greens, the pinks next to the greens are like, okay, florals. And I am not great at painting florals, but I'm going to give it a try. And we're going to do some art and jewelry, and I'm going to combine boxes. And it's going to be a fun time. So we're going to do that sometime this week. I think those are the two things that I'm definitely going to try to do is the Danielle Wicks tutorial, and then we'll do painting and jewelry using the Gemstone Orphanage and the dollar bead box and do some painting and make some art. You know, we'll do pinks and greens, and we'll have, I think that's my color theme this month is pinks and greens. You may have noticed. But anyway, I hope y'all have a fantastic week. Bye for now. Happy beading.